Welcome to Secrets to Alignment with Savannah Schaffer. I am here to equip you with the belief and energy to make your dreams a reality. Take this time to fill your cup and align with the most vibrant version of you. Hello and welcome back to the Secrets to Alignment podcast with your host, Savannah Schaffer. I am so grateful that you decided to hit play today. I know that you have so many more options to choose from, and knowing that you are intentionally choosing me, it just makes my heart so happy. Thank you for being here. I really am so incredibly thankful, and I'm so excited to support you today in this episode. So I am going to be gifting you guys the 4 tips to help you increase your happiness in your life, to have more fulfillment, to just enjoy the day-to-day more intentionally, because I think that it is really, really easy to get into those seasons of life where you just feel kind of stuck. You feel a little stagnant. You're not exactly where you want to be. And I know there are so many people who are listening to this right now that are just really wanting more for themselves, and they're wondering how they can kind of bridge that gap. And I want to be the person who supports you in doing so. The last 24 years of my life, I've gone through many seasons, many changes. I know that I'm very young, but I will say that there was a point where I was in the most negative and reactionary and overall just drama-filled part of my life. And I want to give you guys a little bit of a peek into what that old version of Savannah looked like. Because the old version of Savannah, before all of the healing, before all the inner work, before the journaling and the meditations and all of the content that I share on this incredible podcast, before all of this, I was a little girl who grew up in a household where there was constant fighting, constant arguing, a lot of negativity, a lot of complaining. And to be honest, I just thought that that's the way that we were going to be our entire lives. I didn't know that we could be anything different. And I stepped into my middle school years, my high school years, with being the girl who had the thickest dean's folder. I was constantly in the office. I was constantly wanting to be involved in drama and negativity. And honestly, my entire family referred to me as the negative person, as the one that's always complaining. They referred to me as the pot stirrer. Like, I was the person in the family who they never really thought would be in the place that I currently am today. And I just remember this time of my life back in 2020, a month into COVID. I just now showed this on my Instagram. A month into COVID, I remember I got into this huge argument with my little sister. She's 2 years younger than me, and her and I got into it so badly. It was a few days before my 19th birthday, and I remember her and I just in the kitchen yelling at each other, and then all of a sudden we actually started physically fighting each other in the kitchen. And I remember leaving that room. My mom was sobbing, screaming, crying because my sister had tore up my face really, really badly. This was just a few days before my birthday, and I was so upset because I was like, out of all things, you're gonna ruin my face. And at the time, I was making a full income from social media, or I was making like a 75% of my income from social media at this point in time. It was right before my business actually ended up taking off that summer. And I just remember this time in my life just being so reactionary. And if you got me mad, if you said something that I didn't like, I was going to pop the fuck off. I was going to yell at you. I was going to scream at you. I was going to insult you. I was going to become your worst nightmare. And it is so crazy to look back on that version of myself back then, because the person that I am today, I mean, you guys see it 5 years later, I feel like I am the most positive, optimistic, happy, enlightened, grateful, like just passionate person that I know. I don't know anyone who has as good energy as I do. Like, just being so honest, like, I genuinely have done so much work, so much healing, so much internal processing to get to the place that I am today. And I'm so grateful that I spent the last 5 years doing that. But I really want to just paint that picture for you guys, that this is not who I always have been. And I share that openly because I just want to be completely transparent with you guys. And I want you to know that you have the power to change and you can create a life that you absolutely never could have imagined. But you do have to take that responsibility on for yourself. I think that a lot of times we get into these phases of our life where we are blaming others and we are thinking that all of these situations are happening to us. And it's like this pity party, this victim mindset that we can get into that is not supportive whatsoever for our growth and for us to continue to evolve. But we can just get really, really stuck in the stories that we tell ourselves. So I want to give you guys the 4 things that have actually supported me in transforming my life from being that person who was constantly argumentative, that always wanted to start a problem, to being the most grateful, vibrant, happy version of myself that you guys see today. So first and foremost, I'm sure you've already guessed it, self-awareness is absolutely key. And my way of really being in touch with what's going on internally is journaling. Journaling allows me to actually write out my thoughts and write out all of these situations that caused me that emotional fire up, like that got me really upset or really pissed or whatever emotion that I am feeling. I always turn to my journal. And I know that if I turn to my journal, I'm able to actually process what is going on. And instead of it just kind of spiraling in my head and just circulating over and over and over again, I'm able to get it out onto paper and actually look at it and think through my thoughts completely and really sit there and ask myself those hard questions of what upset me so much? Why am I so pissed off about this? What do I wish I would have done differently? What am I going to do next time? How do I wish that I would have handled that situation? I think a lot of times we get into arguments with people, or we start these big problems, or there's these big things that happen in our lives, and we just get so caught up in the emotion of it that we don't even take the time to assign meaning to what is going on internally. We don't take the time to sort through what is the main thing that I'm actually frustrated at here. And then once you gain that clarity and you do take the time to do that, you're able to tackle the real problem instead of getting caught up in the frustration, the anger, the mad, like all of that emotional experiences that you're having at that moment in time. That is exactly what we want to avoid, getting so sucked into these emotions that just spiral, and instead sort through our thoughts and actually go through one at a time what we wish we would have done and maybe what we're proud of for doing as well. But that self-awareness is absolutely key. That's number 1. You have to have some level of self-awareness that you can actually start making the changes in your life that you're looking to make. Now, number 2 is boundaries. I am so serious about my boundaries. My boundaries are my version of self-care. That is how I prioritize myself. That is how I protect my energy and I keep myself in the best place possible. It's my version of spending time with myself, doing the things that I actually need to so that my cup is filled and that I can pour into all of the people around me. It is me actually being intentional with every single moment in my day so that I can show up as the best version of myself. Whether that's me turning off all distractions and getting off of social media, or it's me deciding to go make myself a meal instead of picking something up or eating a quick pizza. It's those small actions of those boundaries that I have with myself, that discipline that I have with myself, that makes such a huge difference in my life. I'm actually choosing where I spend my time. I do not lollygag my way through life. I don't have fucking time for that. I am a mom, I am a business owner, and I help a lot of people. I do not have time to just waste. I am intentional with every single thing that I hit play on. Every single time that I watch something, I listen to something, I consume something, I eat something, I drink something. I am doing it with intention, even when I'm having fun. I'm not saying that I don't have fun just because I have all these boundaries. That does not mean that I don't have fun. I have so much fucking fun in my life. I love my life so much, and I get to do so many incredible things, and I get to make incredible memories. But because I have these boundaries in place, it allows me to experience those things and not get sucked in or go too far to the point where I'm feeling like shit the next day, to the point where I'm binge watching Netflix for hours and hours on end and I haven't moved off the couch. I am very intentional about who I spend my time with, who I meet up with. Anytime that I call someone, I actually take a moment to check in with myself. Am I prepared to deal with the energy that this person is going to give me? Yesterday, I was thinking about calling someone really, really close in my life, and I knew that if I ended up calling that person, I'd probably lower my vibration because that person can sometimes be a little negative and be stuck in their own problems. And so I chose not to call them. And instead, I send them love energetically, and I know that I will call them very, very soon, but I am intentional about what I spend my time doing so that I know that my cup is always filled, so that I feel my best. Because when I feel my best, I'm able to actually show up as my best for the people that I love, for the people that I care for, whether that's in my work with all of the clients that I serve through Tranquil Minds or all of the women that I help one-to-one. I make sure to have my cup overflowing with good energy for everyone around me so that I can truly give them the inspiration, the creativity, the happiness that they need so they can continue to move forward in their lives as well. I have very strict boundaries around social media and how much I'm consuming, because I know that if I stay on social media for too long, I'm getting caught up in a lot of other people's worlds and I'm getting distracted from what is in my present, my current reality. So I make sure to log off on the weekends, to actually take that time and space so that I can refill and recharge my cup and show up with so much more creativity and inspiration. This helps me so much more than absolutely anything. Having boundaries in my life is a form of self-care, because I feel my best when I am taking care of my energy, when I am pouring into myself, when I am making time to take the bath, to do the meditation, to take 20 minutes to lock the door and focus solely on me, so that when I come out of that room or out of the bath, I am able to show up presently for my daughter, for my man, and for all of the people who I help. I make so much time and space for myself. And some people might think that that's selfish. I think that it's the most selfless thing that I can do, because I am doing it with the intention of showing up for others after my cup is filled. Once I have the energy to just pour out into others, once I feel so clear-minded, so at peace, I'm able to show up for everyone so much better and so much more intentionally. And that allows them to heal. That allows them to grow. That allows them to be in more peace, because I am at peace. And let me just tell you that as a mom, as a young mom, it is not easy for me to have that time alone. So what I do is I actually take my daughter and do a lot of these things with her. My daughter is 2.5 years old. Her name is Aria, and she does yoga with me. She sits with me outside and speaks to the universe. She goes and walks on the ground without her shoes, and she's grounding with me. We're going to parks and we're giving water to the trees. Like, we do so much of this energy work together, and I love that, because I'm also setting an incredible example for her. She goes to the gym with me and goes to the kids club. She goes on all of my walks with me. She's always with me doing these things, and I just know that by me taking that time out, even if I'm with her, I know that I'm going to show up as a better version of myself, because I am doing something intentional so that my cup is full once again and I feel my absolute best. This is what keeps makes me the happiest version of myself. Or instead, I will take 4 hours out of my Sunday to have my sister spend some time with her, and I will go for a hike by myself, and I will listen to my music by myself, and I will get breakfast by myself, and I will get my favorite coffee, and I will just have a morning for me so that when I go pick her up 4 hours later, I am being the most present version of myself, and I am infusing her with so much more love and so much more healed energy because of the way that I've prioritized myself earlier that day. It's harder, absolutely, as a parent. It's harder to put yourself first, but I am committed to being the best version of myself no matter what that takes. And I will say that the thing that I struggle with the most is that when Ty is home, taking the time out for myself and choosing myself, that can be the most challenging thing for me because I just want to give all of my time and energy to him and to Arya and just spend as much time as we can together. But what I've realized is when I do that, when I choose them over me over and over and over again, I'm not choosing myself, and then I don't feel as fulfilled. I feel a little bit depleted. I feel a little bit more exhausted, or I don't have as much energy to actually make dinner or do the things that I want to do for us as a family because I haven't taken any time to actually fill my cup. So I'm very intentional with this, and I make sure that I take the 20 minutes to lock the door and go take a bath by myself and pick up my favorite book and light some candles and just take even those 20 minutes. That can make such a huge difference in the way that I show up. I'm very strict about these boundaries, but that's what allows me to be the happiest version of myself. And number 4 is subconscious reprogramming, doing the inner work. The reality is you have been the same person for all of these years of your life. Up until I turned probably 22, 23, that's when I really started to get into subconscious reprogramming. And I realized I had 20 plus years of rewiring to do, of reprogramming to do, because the reality is our reality is a program. It is a program based on how we were raised and what beliefs we created as children that we believe to be true. So however we saw our parents treating each other, that created a belief. However we saw other people treating us, that created a belief. However we saw substances in our household, or how committed our parents were to working hard, all of those things in our reality, we perceived them in a specific way, and then that creates the reality that we currently live in 20, 30, 40 years later. So doing subconscious reprogramming actually changes the stories and the scripts that are running internally so that you can grow, so that you can prosper, and you can create the kind of reality that you want so badly. The subconscious reprogramming, I feel like it's a part of things that we really have to prioritize, and it's something that I prioritize almost every single day. I prioritize the time in the morning, the time at night. I prioritize meditation. I prioritize influencing my subconscious mind in many parts of my day so that I can rewire my brain to become the absolute most efficient, most content, most grateful, most appreciative version of myself. And that allows me to have the energy to go create a big difference in this world, to go create the results that I want in my reality, and actually move forward with great energy, happiness, fulfillment, good vibes that I'm just radiating everywhere that I go. I have had such an incredible transformation over these last 5 years, and I credit, I'd say 90% of it to what I shared in this podcast here and today. So if you can just implement even one of these on a daily basis, I know that it is going to influence you and have a massive impact on your reality. But once again, it is your responsibility to decide to want more, to decide to move differently and create the kind of change that you want in your life, because no one is going to do it for you. So those are the 4 things that I want you to prioritize if you want to have more happiness in your life: self-awareness, boundaries, gratitude, and subconscious reprogramming. I truly believe that you can have the most incredible transformation when you prioritize those 4 things. And like I said, start with one today and then just see how it goes. But I promise you that by implementing these, you will notice a difference in your life. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some energy. It's going to take some effort. It may even take make some investments, but the more that you indulge yourself in this kind of content, in this kind of mindset work, you are going to notice a huge difference in your life. I hope that this was incredibly supportive for wherever that you're at right now. If you're feeling stuck, if you need some more support, please send me a message. I am always here for you. I want to support you with where you are currently at in your personal journey. So if you have any questions or you need support in anything, please reach out to me. I'm here for you. I appreciate you. And if you want to dive deeper into any of the content that I shared here and today in this podcast, I invite you into Tranquil Minds. Tranquil Minds is my community where we dive so deep into your programming. We completely shift the way that you view yourself and the people around you so that you can create a new reality for yourself and start to live in that dream reality that you have been dreaming of for far too long, but not actually experiencing yet. All you have to do is DM me the word change on Instagram. I will be there for you. I will chat with you and I will see if it's a good fit for you to continue to grow, change, and evolve on this beautiful journey called life. Thank you so much for tuning in today, hitting play on my podcast. I'm so incredibly grateful and I'm so proud of you for choosing yourself. I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye.